Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a series that I'm going to start to purely share with you the books that I've been reading when I was young or at the early stage of my wealth creation journey, before even I turned 21. Okay, what triggered me into starting this book series is where many of you are asking me, what was the book that I was reading when I was young, while I was thinking of accumulating my wealth and got me to where I am today. And the trigger point for me was very simple. I wasn't from a well-to-do family. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. That got me to ask myself, like, where can I learn from people? Right? I don't have the right network, the right connection, don't have the money, don't have the knowledge. So where can I? So the best way is to pick up a book and start reading. Right? So I'm going to do a screen share now. So obviously, if you are here and you like this content, I really hope that you can help me to like the video, share the video, or even subscribe to my channel to really encourage me in this journey that I'm doing it together with you. Okay, so this is a very, very important book. I will call it the cornerstone books that I actually read when I was young. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. And it talks about the surprising secrets of Americans' wealthy, right? So this book is not just about giving you principles and just fluff in a sense. No, this is not a get rich quick book, right? It is about accumulating wealth through plan and thoughtful process over an entire journey. And most important, right, the two PhD authors, right, what they did was they actually interviewed the millionaires and they actually have data to prove it. So they actually created data, right, from it. And you will really feel that it's very surprising. Okay, and today, right, we can't even see it in people around us, probably in Singapore. Okay, let me go straight into it. So the first one, or the most important lesson is number one, whatever income always lives beyond or below good below your means, right? To really accumulate wealth and become a millionaire in your own journey, right, is always live beyond your means. So I'm going to show you this two diagram, right? Income on the left, expenses on the right. So what do you think is the most important, right, when you were starting out? Income or expenses? Okay, do comment below. Okay, to me, seriously, I think when we just get to work, right, income is the most important. However, right, as you start drawing your first paycheck, focusing on growing your income is key. At the same time, keeping your expenses at least low, if not cap it in a certain range, right? So you can go and start reading books like money bags, right? Like money bags, that it's a money system that you can search. I'm not going to share too much, but it's like I want you to focus on more on like income, right? How do you grow your income? How do you gain high income skill set to really grow your wealth? Okay, and then really live down your means. So this is very key. Okay, number two. Okay, number two is more like how do you define a wealthy man? So I actually revised the code a bit. So let me read you the code: good health, longevity, happiness, a loving family, self-reliance, five friends. If you have five, which is all these five, you are a wealthy man. So so the actual quotation was actually a rich man. Okay, so why do we need to define wealth itself? Because by defining wealth in your life, right, that sets the tone for you moving forward, right? It's like don't it's like a lot of things that you cannot control, but what you can control, right, is how you value things, right? So let me show you another two picture. So this is a contrast between a rich and a wealthy, right? But you can see, right, there's this thing that don't judge a book by its cover, right? But sometimes looks can be deceiving also, right? Like the lady and the guy over there, they seems to be dressing up well. So there was a time in my journey, right? I used to wear everything branded. Now less so, right? Because I experienced at my early journey, right, when I was wearing branded stuff, right, chasing the brands, I realized that I don't have much bank. I don't have much money in the bank account, right? Today, because I spend less on my clothings, I spend less on my necessity. I I eventually feel that, hey, I actually get more money to grow my wealth, right? It's not so. So the next one is going to be the key. Many people always tell me that, hey, Alvan, I don't have the money, I don't have the knowledge. I can tell you, wealth is more often the result of a lifestyle of hard work, perseverance, planning, and most of all, self-discipline. So what do I mean by that? So, I mean, I don't know whether you have seen this article, lottery curse victims. So there's a lottery curse when you struck a big pot of gold, right? It means suddenly wealth is being transferred to you that you do not how to manage. Most of the time, the wealth itself destroy you and get you worse than you were before. Okay, so it's in this article. However, the curse itself, whether true or not, I'm not sure, right? Because there's no one have all the statistics in the world, but let us look at how the rich and the wealthy are really planning how do they after acquiring so much wealth, right, transfer the wealth to the next generation. Okay, so this is this guy called Stanley Ho. So apparently he is the Macau, one of the billionaire in Macau, right? It's called the Dusen, which is the god of gambler, which is he owns a lot of casino in Macau itself. But you realize the last statement, right? Instead of transferring all the assets to the children and also the family members, right? What he has done, he actually set up a trust fund, a family trust fund that will consistently give the children a monthly income of 18,000 Sing dollar. So again, it's like he could have just give them all the money, but no. So now his wealth is being distributed throughout the generations to come, right? So in a sense, perseverance and planning is very important. So to me, if you are watching this at a later stage of your life, having a kid, probably when it comes to legacy planning, really focusing on how you pass down values and money through a longer period of time consistently. Cool. And so that's why I always tell people, right, how I came to this wealth creation, right, it's not by pure luck. It's really by discipline, right? It's like, even before I got married, I really tell my wife, or which is back then my girlfriend, which is Elise, right, that, hey, I want to really go into a stage of my life where I want to have financial freedom, I want to have passive income. So what we did was I got married at age 26. So what happened was in the next we actually planned that in the next 7 to 10 years, right, we need to clear off the property that we own. So true enough, in 7 years we did it. So we did it. What happened was the next 2 years, right, I actually told my wife that, hey, I really want to go to a work or go to a career that I really enjoy, that focus a bit more on trading or investing. So which I also did that. So at age 35, I became a full-time trader. So now I'm more like a consultant with an MS license, helping individuals to invest. And that's why I'm doing this at this moment. Okay. In next, so number 4 is also very important. Why? Because as we grow older, right, what's going to happen is we're going to buy things for our family, probably a house or even a car, right? So based on the book, the research, right, is that they discover that most American, right, live in expensive homes and drive luxury cars, right, do not actually have much wealth. So then they also discover something very even odd, right, more odd in that sense. It's like many people who have a great deal of wealth do not even live in upscale neighborhoods, right? So this is something that I pick up very, very young or at a very early stage of my journey when I became a husband, right? Is that uh, a home, okay, there's a difference between a house and a home. So a house is made of walls and beams, it's just a structure, but a home is built with love and dreams, right? Again, it's like when it comes to planning for your marriage, right, do not just focus on the wedding itself. Okay, if you are not yet married or going to get married soon, these are advice that I think helps me a lot. So focus on the marriage. Okay, focus on the value more instead of the looks. Right? If you can have a very fantastic place to get married, you can buy a condo, you can drive continental car, fantastic. But live within your means. Remember the number one rule, right? whatever income you have, always live within your means. It is like when I bought my first house, right? The first objective was very simple. I do not want to fork out any cash to buy a house, as little as we can. So we actually bought a house purely contributing using our CPF OE, right? If not, try to keep it as low as we can. So even like buying a car, I mean, I think throughout my whole 14 years of marriage, right, probably more than 70% of the time I own a car. But do take note that when I own the car, right, it's not brand new. Why? Because if you own a car that is fully brand new, the depreciation is very high. Okay, one of the highest in the early stage of depreciation, right? Like for Singapore, right, you buy a car with a COE of 10 years, it is not a straight line depreciation, not like every 1 year it depreciates by 10%. But if you really go and do some research, the car depreciation in the first few years is like easily 40 to 50%. And then gradually it tones down. So it's always better, I feel, to buy cars that is more than 5 years, right? If you really want to accumulate wealth, you really have to be wise in managing your money, right? Because in your most productive year, right, money should be used in a way the most effective. Because if money or your income is scarce, right, then obviously being scarce, there's always this thing called opportunity cost, which is economics, right? You have to make good use of whatever available resources to eventually get more resources for you, right? And that is the whole idea of the next point. One of the reasons that millionaires are economically successful, so the word economically, uh, is that they think differently than most of us, right? So I mean, if you really want to become a millionaire, go and understand what they think or what's the process, right? Because to me in Chinese, right, there's this phrase called what? 思想会创造财富 means your thought, right, will create the wealth for you. And I truly believe it because it is through my thought process or my mindset towards looking at money itself, right, that brought me to where I am today. So this is just a diagram. Obviously, go and do your own reading a lot on the differences of how the broke will think and the rich. So the broke will always jump on new trend, dress like very rich, spend in cars and sneakers. Nothing wrong with all this, or they party every weekend. Okay, nothing wrong with partying, but to me is I want you to live a rich life, live a meaningful life, a life full of joy, right? Means like save and invest into the trend. It's like things that have been consistently making decent returns for us. We just have to learn and wait and be patient. And compound our money along the way. Something that Warren Buffett, the godfather of investing, always say, right? The stock market is the money transfer device from people who are impatient to people who are patient, right? So there are some investments that I personally don't get into, right? Clothes isn't important, but of course functionality is, right? But I'm not saying that you cannot buy branded clothes also, to take note. And invest into books and seminars. Then the lastly is keep learning new things every day, right? So allocate time for yourself to keep reading, keep even like watching YouTube or podcast. So again, if you have not subscribed at this point, I would like you to smash the subscribe button, okay, and turn on your notification bell for future videos coming. Okay, so at this time, please help me like. Awesome. Okay, 2 more points to go. It's getting me long, but it's good. Okay. Number 6, the foundation stone of wealth accumulation is defense. And this defense should be anchored by budgeting and planning. When I first saw this word, right, I was like diving myself into things like budgeting and planning, right? But the key word here is also defensive, right? Remember the first thing that I shared with you, right? Income, expenses, okay? It is more about prioritizing where your money is going into. It's not so much of keeping your money low or your expenditure low, right? So it's like, for example, I talk about home and house, right? How I will build my home in terms of the design internally, right, is that currently or even in the past, right, like I will prefer to have more photo frame than actual paintings by the professionals, right? I'm not into the I'm not saying that paintings are not good investment. But to me, probably I don't appreciate painting so much, right? And I believe the best painting in my house, right, is actually the artwork that my daughter have done, the pictures of my family and friends, and the vacation that I take with them. I think that is a better painting for me. Okay, and it's very value based, right? So things that I spend my mind, I focus on value, or that does it resonate with me, right? Like for example, I mean, I got a very good friend. She always like recently she asked me, like, why not you go and like spend some money and buy a very expensive watch. I say it doesn't sit well in my body. I mean, it's like I would like to have it. I do have the money to own it, right? But it's more like it doesn't sit well. It's like if I'm going to buy it, right, then it doesn't sit well in terms of value internally, right? So it's value, right? Defense yourself is not about not spending and not become generous. No, it's value based. Okay, so but again is when we are defensive, right, we are I'm more speaking in terms of not just how you spend your money, is how you actually grow your money. So again, I want to go to the godfather of investing. Rule number one, never lose money. Rule number two, don't forget rule number one. And this is the foundation how I do my work with all my clients, right? So these are the two pillars when it comes to conversation that I have with you. Okay, lastly, okay, this one quite important. Okay, money should never change someone's value. Okay, making money is only a report card. It's a way to tell how you are doing, right? To me, I really feel that money is just neutral. Money amplified the person itself. Means like, for example, if Alvan, right, is having money, right, I become very how do I put it? I become very control freak and stingy, right? Then internally, whether I have or don't have money, I'm always like that, right? If it's just an amplification of who I really am internally when it comes to money itself. But this is one thing that I want to remind everyone. Okay, you must control over your money, or the lack of it will forever control you. Right? There's this saying that they say, right, money is the root of all evil. Wrong. Based on biblical verses, right, the love of money is the root of all evil. So to me, I feel that, so based on this quote by this gentleman over here, right, is that is money your slave, or are you slave to money itself, right? So to me is that uh, choose choose what position you want to be. Do you want to be a slave to money, or money become your slave? Okay, honestly speaking. So something that we have been talking to our client is, are you men at work so that you can get money, or money is at work so that you can get money? So if you don't have a strategy or system to get money at work, right, then I would love to have this conversation with you. Okay, so I want to make this conclusion. At the end of the day, I think do remind yourself, and if you like this, again, please like and share the video, and turn on the subscribe and subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell. Cool. And I hope you join me for the other series that I'll be doing. Bye.